Figured.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I'll officially call this meeting to order. This is North Wasco County School District 21 regular school board meeting, Thursday, May 25th, 2023. Everyone, please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty. All right, starting us off tonight is the TDHS Jazz Band that's behind us. So directors, if we can all please go to the side, and I'll turn it over to our TDHS music teacher, Mr. Mick Kelly.
you. Again, we're the Dallas High School Jazz Band. We just played an old standard called Georgia on My Mind, which featured a few of our players soloing. We had Jada on baritone sax, Kai on trombone, and then Lucy back on trumpet. We worked out a little bit earlier on the year, and this next piece will be a little bit more upbeat, one that we just played last night for a concert, and also for our Tri-Valley Jazz Contest, which the kids placed third in, and also were able to qualify for state jazz competition for the first time in over 40 years, which was a pretty huge win on our side. Woo! Wrap up our short little session here for you guys, we're going to play a piece called Un Poco Mas, which will feature Cass on bass along with Kate on tenor sax. I wanted to thank our admin and also our school board for the tremendous support they've shown us the last couple of years. Without their help, we wouldn't have as many of the instruments as we currently do. So if you are using one of the school instruments, we'll either hold it up or raise your hand. Because of the school board's willingness to allow us to use about $75,000 of ESSER funds, we were able to purchase 35 new instruments at the intermediate and professional level model. So a lot of the instruments these kids are using are what the professionals out in the field get to use. And so we really wanted to show our appreciation to the school board and also our admin, our principal, our superintendent, and also our CFO, Kara Flapp, for meeting with me, helping us get through this, and really getting the best that we can for the students here. So thank you again for having us come out tonight. Thank you for all the support, and we hope you guys enjoy the rest of the meeting. We'll kind of get out of your way. Thanks, everyone.
All right, as they wrap up, we'll kind of keep rolling through the agenda. Thanks again to Mr. Mick Kelly and the TDHS Jazz Band. Next on the agenda is a review revision of the agenda. Revision or comment? Okay. We'll proceed with the agenda as presented. Next is the reading of the district mission, vision, and values. Director Lopez, read this.
Educating each student to the highest standards by motivating them to reach their potential and graduating them to be college, career, and life ready. Vision statement. Our schools are a place where children belong. Each student is known by name, strength, and need and provided the education and opportunities to achieve success. Our values: striving for equity, inclusion, and belonging. Celebrating diversity, engaging the community, supporting the whole child, promoting and achieving academic excellence.
Thank you, Director Lopez. Next is our student and staff recognition. I'll have Director of Communications, Stephanie Bone, come up and give us an update on our High Five Fridays.
Good evening. So for the month of May, we were able to celebrate staff from our district office. Our wonderful after school director, Jamie, you'll be hearing from later. And then our administrative assistant at the district office, Jessica. We were also able to celebrate 2 staff from Dry Hollow. Notably, we ended up on the same day as the jogathon, so also got to participate a little bit in that, although I did not jog. And then we also had our student services team, and our wonderful tag coordinator, who's not pictured here, was our coffee recipient there because she was deep in the throes of state testing. So she got a pass on her picture and may be included in next month. That's it.
Next, we'll head into student representative reports. Tonight, we're starting off with a report from the Dallas High School, and we'll hear from Mayette Winwood.
Hello, my name is Mayette Winwood. I'm a junior at the Dallas High School and the current ASB Public Relations Officer, and I will be the executive president next year. We are nearing the end of the school year, and we're so proud of all of our Riverhawks accomplishments from the year. Here are some important information to know as we finish. Our baseball team is currently ranked 7 in the 4A division. On Tuesday, they played at Seaside and beat them in the state playoff game. This Friday at 5 p.m., they'll be playing Gladstone in the state quarterfinal game. Our softball team is currently ranked number 2 in the 4A division. They have set a new record in the whole state of Oregon for the amount of home runs in the season at 63 home runs and counting. This past Tuesday, they beat Seaside in the state playoff game 16-0. They'll be playing at home against Astoria at 5 p.m. in the state quarterfinal game on Friday. Our track team left for state today. It will be at Hayward Field Friday and Saturday. We have 10 athletes that qualified. Senior Zoe Dunn going for triple and long jump, the 4x400 meter relay, and the 4x100 meter relay. Junior Madeline Harrison going for the 200 meter, 4x400 meter relay, and 4x100 meter relay. Junior Lily Adams going for the 400 meter, 4x400 meter relay, and 4x100 relay. Junior Amira Hill going to the 4x400 meter relay and the 4x100. Foreign exchange student Josephine Nielsen going at the alternate for the 4x400 meter relay. Sophomore Elena Cassidy going for the 1500 meter and 2000 meter. Sophomore River McClure going for the 300 meter hurdle. Freshman Derek Rivart going for the high jump. Senior Juan David Gutierrez going for 1500 meter and 3000 meter. And sophomore Julian Morehouse going for the pole vault. Two boys from our tennis team, Paul Kelly and Paul Papick, competed as a team in doubles at state in the sport. We had one girl at state representing Dallas for the girls. For golf, Caitlin Doxer, she plays the 8th, and our boys qualified to state as a team and in sport. We recently had ASB elections for next year. Here is the ASB for the 2023 to 2024 school year. Executive President Naya Winwood, Executive Vice President Jaylonda Stewart, Executive Secretary Erica Vela Flores, Executive Treasurer Gabe Castillo Quintana, and Executive Public Relations Officer Alexa Bustos. Senior Class President Imari Santiago Guzman, Senior Class Secretary Madeline Harrison, and Senior Class Treasurer Marcia Baldy. Junior Class President Kylie Jepson, Junior Class Vice President Sophia Hernandez, Junior Class Treasurer Lee Baskin, Sophomore Class President Maya Malcolm, and Sophomore Vice President Kate Morales. Some of these spots are filled, but we're looking to get them filled for next year, and the incoming freshman class will have elections in September. The seniors' last school day of classes is Wednesday, the 31st. They will have graduation rehearsal on Thursday and Friday next week. Friday, after the rehearsal, they will be doing the Riverhawk Walk, where the seniors will be going to their elementary school or an elementary school of their choice and walking in and tapping them. Graduation is June 3rd on Amazon. It starts at 10:30. If you are part of the board and have yet graduation, it is advised that you get there between 9:30 and 10. Get ready. Huckster, next week on Tuesday, our senior class HB will be hosting our annual Hucksters, which is an award ceremony for our Hawks based on extracurricular classes, personalities, and humor. Our leadership class just finished up a week-long scavenger hunt activity all around the Dalles. This activity was the last opportunity of the school year to get spirit points for your class and win a trip to bowling goals. Our seniors won the scavenger hunt and the class with the bowling goals yesterday. They took the day off at 100 each other. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, next we'll hear from Innovation Academy, and we'll hear from Carrie Costa. So we'll move on to the Dallas Middle School. We'll hear from Riley Elliott and Yadesi Vasquez.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Yo, 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 I'm Yadesi Vasquez, Vice President.
And I'm Riley Elliott, ASB President, and I'm pleased to be accompanied by next year's ASB President, Nathan. He will be shadowing us tonight. Speaking of next year, I am excited to announce next year's ASB officer team. President Nathan Corson, Vice President Olivia Anderson, Treasurer Rosalind Elliott, Secretary Eliza Bott, Spirit Leader Marilla Ortiz, and our new position is the DJ for assemblies and dances, Norette Lazaro.
Our family carnival was a hit with about 700 people who attended. We'd like to make it an annual event. Some highlights include Domino's Pizza, Rancheria Jalisco, a bouncy house, cotton candy and popcorn, fire trucks and police cars, joined together by our community partners who we'd like to give a big thank you to. Loncheria Jalisco,
Tonkin and Subaru of the Gorge, Benjamin Moore Paint at Sawyer's Ace Hardware, Onvie Adventures, Domino's Pizza, and Studio Fit.
On May 30th, the 8th graders have the amazing opportunity to experience Camp Moral. We will have the chance to go on a rock wall, play basketball, play volleyball, mini golf, and much more. The best part about this trip is that I'll be with my best friends.
The sixth graders have been gone on a field trip every single day this week. On Monday, they went to Horseby. On Tuesday, they went to the Discovery Center. On Wednesday, they went to the Dallas Dam. And earlier today, they went to Cirrhosis Park. Their daily field trip was a fun version of outdoor school.
On Thursday, June 8th, the 7th graders are going to the movie theater for the field trip. They are going to see the new Spider-Man movie Into the Spider-Verse. After they watch the movie, they will return to TMS for some fun outdoor activities on the field.
8th grade promotion is coming up on Friday, June 9th. We would love to see you all there. The 8th graders are very excited to become freshmen, and there will be many awards handed out, as well as student speakers, myself included.
After promotion, the 8th graders have their very own dance. We will be serving burritos and tacos from Taco Bell. The dance will take place from 8 to 9:30 p.m.
Hey, that's past the bedtime.
Well, we've got to learn how to party like the high schoolers.
The Moana crew wrapped up their last show last weekend, and it was an absolute success. They ended all their hard work with a cast and crew party.
Thank you so much for your time. Have a good rest of your day.
All right, yeah, Chenoweth Elementary School next, we'll hear from Alexis Figueroa.
Good evening for the last time of this school year. I'm Alexis Figueroa and I'm almost a sixth grader in this building. Buenas noches por última vez este año escolar. Soy Alexis Figueroa y yo soy casi en sexto grado en este edificio. We just finished our state test. Do you know how many we have to take? 5 tests. Can you believe you have to take that many? It's exhausting. Acabamos de terminar todas nuestras pruebas estatales. ¿Sabes cuántas tenemos que tomar? 5 pruebas. ¿Puedes creer que tenemos que tomar tantas? Es demasiado. Lots of classes are taking field trips in the next 2 weeks. Our grade has the best teachers because we're going on break. To the pool, to Amzi and Portland, and here to the middle school for a stepper day. Do any of you want to ride on a hot school bus with us on June 6th? Muchas clases harán excursiones en las próximas 2 semanas. Nuestro grado tiene los mejores maestras porque vamos a 3, a la piscina, a Amzi en Portland y aquí en la escuela intermedia para el día de mejora. ¿Alguno de ustedes quieren venir en un autobús escolar caliente con nosotros en el 6? We've had a busy month of extra events. Can you believe over 400 people came to our family night and ate food, sang karaoke, enjoyed violin, bowled karaoke, finished painting, and so many more school STEM activities? Hemos tenido un mes ocupado con eventos adicionales. Puedes creer que más de 400 personas asistieron a nuestra noche familiar y comieron, cantaron karaoke, disfrutaron el baile folclórico, pintaron caras y tantas STEM actividades. Shout out to the high school robotics team, esports team for helping with our family night, and STEM club for coming this morning and doing cool STEM activities with their graders. El equipo de robótica de las escuelas de secundaria por ayudó con nuestra noche familiar. El club de STEM por venir esta mañana y hacer STEM actividades con los tercer grados. With runners and jumpers and so many ribbons at the elementary school track meet this week. You couldn't even count them all. Los corredores y saltadores de Chernobyl ganaron muchas cintas en la competencia de atletismo de la escuela primaria esta semana. Ni siquiera podemos contarlos a todos. You should join our walking bus next Friday. We meet at Juanita's and start working at 7:15 a.m. If you come, we wouldn't say no to cold bottles of juice. También debes de recibir a nuestro autobús escolar a pie el próximo viernes. Nos encontramos en casa de Juanitas y comencemos a caminar a las 5:15 en la mañana. Si vienes, no lo diremos que no a botellas de jugo. Our fifth grade SB is challenging the school to raise money with the coin challenge. The grade who turns in the most gets to throw a pie at Mr. Miguel, Miss Marie, and the teachers' faces. You should come to our last day of school assemblies to see the fun, or I will take any coins you have now and add them to our fifth grade bucket. Nuestro ASB de quinto grado está destinando a la escuela de recordar dinero por un desfile de monedas. El grado que entrega más puede arrojar un pastel en las caras del señor Wendell, la señora Mary y sus maestros. Deberías venir a nuestra asamblea del último día de clase para ver la diversión. Tomaré las monedas que tengas ahora para ponerla en nuestro cubeta de quinto grado. Also, they are using some of the money to rent a blow-up obstacle course for the last day of school. We are going out of style this year. Además, están usando parte del dinero para agarrar una carrera de obstáculos para el último día de escuela. Saltaremos por estilo ese año. Thanks for supporting our schools, students and schools. Gracias por ayudar a nuestros estudiantes y escuelas. And as we always say at Chenoweth, remember to be kind, be responsible, be respectful, and be safe. Don't forget, together we are better. Y como siempre decimos en Chenoweth, recuerda ser amable, responsable, respetuoso y seguro. Y no olvides, juntos somos mejores. Thank you.
All right, next we have Dry Hollow Elementary School. We'll hear from Elias Jensen, Lydia Leducer, and Jersey Thompson.
Good evening, board members. It is once again our pleasure to speak to you tonight about everything that's been going on at Dry Hollow in the last month. Well, at least the things we can talk about. Let's begin. We are still finishing up tests this year. These tests are stressful for us and the teachers. We have completed the state ELA computer adapted test, the state ELA performance task test, the state computer adapted math test, the state math performance task test, the fifth grade computer adapted science test, the STAR math, the STAR reading test, the easy CV and fluency test, our teachers' goal tests in reading, our teachers' goal tests in math, the end of the year goal math tests, final writing tests for wit and wisdom, and final tests in mystery science. No wonder we're all so testy. On May 2nd, Dry Hollow held a family STEM night. It was a huge success thanks to the hard work of one of our outstanding fifth grade teachers, Wesley Mitchell, along with some willing PTA members, including Nikki Stocks, our PTA president. The kids played with Legos, made catapults, operated robotic vehicles, and made flashlights from LED lights, popsicle sticks, and copper tape. We were told that fun was had by all, whoever all is. Tryouts were held for our talent show in early May. We held our show on May 12th. Did any of you attend?
Well, if you didn't attend, you missed out on some pretty awesome times. And since you couldn't make it because of your busy schedules, Jersey Thompson and I, my dancing body, would like to perform our dance just for you. We hope you like it.
Kindergarten classes were treated to a field trip to Mrs. Brewer's farm. Unfortunately, the bus driver didn't exactly know where our house was. So, the students, according to a parent volunteer, took a 55-minute bus tour of South Wasco County before they found our house. If you haven't tried it, the parents say it's a real adventure to ride on a bus with 60 kindergartners for almost an hour. I'm not exactly sure what they meant by that.
On May 18th, because we earned over 1,500 Pride tickets again, Dry Hollow students enjoyed a variety of movies, along with some Orville Red and Walker popcorn. Thanks to some great planning and hard work by our outstanding Vice Principal, Miss Lloyd, it was said they all had fun, whoever all was.
Mrs. Lloyd also presented our Word of the Month assembly for May. Our Word of the Month is grit. We learned that grit is not a small piece of food you might have in your teeth, but rather a word that means strength of character or perseverance. Do you have grit?
Our teachers are organizing some fun end-of-the-year activities for us. On June 5th, the staff will take on the 5th graders in a kickball game. The last time the staff played the 5th graders, they beat them 32-10. No one really remembers that score, so we just made that one up. And once again, fun was had by all.
Last week we had our annual Dry Hollow jogging. Even though it was a chilly 90 degrees, when we ran, most kids had fun and didn't throw up. Once again, fun was had by, are you ready for this? Everyone. Our teachers have been working on creating or organizing classes for next year. This is always a challenge to make classes as equal as possible, but they are trying, so they say.
Okay, so what was fun had by? Yeah. The 2022 through 2023 school year is almost over, and so is our school board reporting job. It has been a pleasure doing these reports each month. We hope that you have had as much fun as we had presenting them.
So, in the words of one of Mr. Kaiser's childhood heroes, Roy Rogers, who no one probably remembers other than him, happy trails to you until we meet again. Thank you.
Final report comes from Colonel Wright Elementary. We'll hear from Owen Barham.
Hi, I don't really have any introduction. I didn't plan this. I didn't know anyone else had either. Sorry about that. Anyway, I just thought that you guys would be interested in the fact that Colonel Wright has a lot of things to offer to a lot of kids from different interests. To sports club, student council, art club, kindness club, and a couple others. Kindness Club took a field trip downtown to see all the murals and even got a free tour of the Neon Sign Museum. Thank gosh we didn't have to pay for that. Anyway, we got free ice cream and Federville for all 16 kids and the three supervisors. And everybody had a good time, especially when we were hiding all the kindness rocks that we painted. The staff members worked really hard to provide kindness and all the different things for students and everything that they need. Everything usually goes according to plan. Hold on 1 second. Oh yeah. Anyway, the fifth graders did an assembly where they proved how everyone was valuable by doing a presentation of everything that they could. We had several groups, including jump rope, art, making baseball, basketball, and a couple others. Again, and yeah, I don't have that much. Bye.
All right, that concludes our student rep reports tonight. As we wind down the school year, I just want to take a quick second to thank all of our students. Thank you for spending part of your evening with us at our meetings. To the parents, thank you for bringing your students here as well. I know it's kind of a team effort for everyone, but thank you for those of you going on to different schools. You know, 8th graders going to the high school, 5th graders going to the middle school. I hope to see you at more of our meetings. It's been a pleasure getting to know some of you guys. So thank you, and I hope you guys have a great summer if we don't see you. Next, we have our consent agenda tonight that consists of our school board meeting minutes from last month, our budget committee meeting number 2 minutes, which was held on May 15, 2023, and an updated personnel report. Any questions or comments by the directors?
There was a scrivener's error on the minutes for the budget. So, but Cindy knows that. There.
You relate, okay. You have that, Cindy.
Yeah, I'm finding it. Yeah, I know it. It's supposed to be an employee. That's to the employees.
Is that just on the second page, under the questions? Yeah, okay. Any others? Yeah, all right, then if nothing else, and I will entertain a motion to.
I'm like, approve the consent agenda with that correction.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion by Director Nelson, seconded by Director Richardson to approve the consent agenda with a minor correction to the budget committee meeting minutes. Any further question or discussion? All right, see none, we'll move to vote. Director Lopez.
Aye.
Director Jones.
Aye.
Director Nelson.
Aye.
Director Richardson.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Right, next is our board action calendar review. Just kind of looking ahead in our final month of this academic year. Just kind of looking ahead to next year. If you do have any topics or items for the retreat agenda together, please send those to me via email. Outside of that, we have coming up is the adoption of our budget for the upcoming year. We'll have at our next meeting. And then more importantly, kind of the last events of the year, those being the graduations coming up for both PDHS and innovations. And make it to be in attendance for those. And then as we heard tonight from all the student reports, there's a lot of end of year activities and different celebrations at each of the buildings. So let's make an effort to be out as many as we can. Anything, questions or comments with the final kind of month coming up? Okay. All right. So with that, we'll flow into our school board subcommittee reports. Starting off with our wellness committee, Director Richardson.
I don't have much of a report. They did a wellness barbecue yesterday and they're working on the policy updates for us to review. There's still so much to be done.
Thank you. Next is a Wasco County Forest Collaborative, Director Nelson.
We did meet beginning of the month and we went on a field trip. But I don't have a report yet because I haven't seen the minutes and there's a lot to unscramble there. So you'll get a more full report next month.
All right. Thank you, Director Nelson. Next, OSBA Legislative Policy Committee, Director Richardson.
The LPC continues to meet weekly and get updates for ongoings in the legislature. And last week, the legislature received the June economic forecast, which indicates that the tax revenue in Oregon exceeds projections. This is likely good news for our state school fund. Also, the legislature concluded work on policy committee bills last week and voted bills out of committee on chamber floors. However, business on the Senate floor has been stopped entirely due to the Senate Republican walkout. And there's no indication of when it will resume. It's unclear if the walkout will conclude or if it will persist through the constitutionally required end of session, which is June 25th. And today, almost no budgets have passed. So without new budgets, the government could shut down. However, this year, the legislature passed a continuing resolution that would allow continued government spending at the current levels through September 15th. This would mean, for example, that the payments districts would get could be at the current allocation level of 9.3 billion state school fund, not at the increased level we're anticipating with the new forecast. This could present some challenges for districts like ours and cash flow as COLA and raises will kick in, but the cash will not follow. I've been writing to our local legislators and I would encourage anyone else to do the same. Representative Smith did reply that he agreed that the state school fund should be funded at 10.3 billion and he would vote for the highest number that reaches the House floor. And there's still some time, so please reach out to our local representatives and advocate for our schools.
Our final subcommittee report is a D21 Ed Foundation, Director Jones. All right, that brings us to our staff reports. We have the North Wasco Education Support Professionals, not Tim this kitchen. All right.
I know very well, just by the way, just for the record. So at our last ESP get together for our end of the year, we had our elections. And we have a new president coming on board. Sylvia and I are stepping down as co-presidents. We are staying on as member advocates for our ESPs. And we'd like to thank you for your support for us. We hope you continue on with our new president. And actually Sylvia is going to co-president with Miss Sonia for a while until she gets her feet on the ground and so new president is Sonia Schott. Come on up. And Sonia is at Colonel Wright. Sonia, you want to talk how long have you been with us?
I am the media assistant at Current, so full-time in the library. I've been at Current about 10 years, part-time and then full-time. I have 3 kids that all attend Colonel Wright. My last one is currently about to graduate from high school and is also on the softball team. So we've been a little bit busy the last 2 weeks. And so I mean, that's it.
That's it. That's a lot. We're excited for her to come on board. So some new young blood. So thank you.
All right, that concludes our staff reports tonight. We'll move into new business, presentations and reports. First tonight, we'll hear from the Dallas Middle School building report. So we'll have Principal LaDuce.
I brought my assistant tonight. She's got more experience in doing this than I do, so any advice for your dad?
Got it.
All right, so principal's report. So we're going to start this the same way we start staff meetings in the Dallas Middle School, make sure everyone's awake. So I'm going to ask the school board to step up. We're going to stand up. We're going to start with 50 burpees, get our blood flowing, and then, no, I'm kidding. Hey, I like it though. He was going for it. So
I'm just waiting for the day.
yeah. What, or you think she get the problem? So. All right, so principal's report for this year, we'll start with the boring stuff. So the staffing updates, administrative staff, and I'm kind of doing a bigger overview too for those who maybe don't know all the details of the middle school. So administrative staff, principal, vice principal, students. One thing I'm proud of that we started this year is we have 2 staff members in-house that are leading and starting their administrative programs. So trying to grow that pipeline in-house of future leaders in our building. So that's something I'm pretty excited about as we continue forward. Certified staff, we're currently at 42 licensed staff. One thing I'm really proud about that is as of right now, we only have 1 position to fill for next year. And that person is moving away. And so that's something I'm very proud about, the fact that the retention of that and how many we're keeping at this point. Excuse me. So classified staff, we're currently at 27 total classified staff. Same thing, we've had 1 position to fill. That person is moving to a new location. They've been with us for decades. It's going to be a very challenging position to fill. We have found a person and filled that, and I know he's going to step up. It's going to be a learning curve, but they're going to do a great job. So I start with that because stability of staff is what's great for buildings, and it's what's great for our students. And so the fact that at this point, out of that many staff members, we are only having to fill 1 classified and 1 certified. Very happy about that as we move forward with the goals we're trying to achieve. So now that the boring stuff's out of the way, let's talk about more students. So our current TMS enrollment, we have 536 total students in our building. When you look at the 5th, 4th, and 3rd grade numbers, they're approximately about the same. So we're expecting this enrollment to stay approximately the same in the future and not vary too much with that. Athletics. Give a quick overview of that. I know that our ASB representatives have talked a lot about that, but in the fall, we offer boys and girls cross country, girls volleyball, and boys football. Winter sports, we have boys and girls basketball, boys and girls wrestling, and in the spring, we have boys and girls track. What I'm really happy about what we were able to do this year is we also expanded and created a cheerleading team as well. And so that cheerleading team got off and running this year. They will operate in the fall like as 1 squad, and in the winter as another squad. So there'll be 2 opportunities for people to be a part of that. And really appreciative of all the work our coaches and are doing with that and the support they're bringing to that. So that's a big goal of mine, and I'll talk about that in the next part, is to try to increase these opportunities for students that we have in the building. So on to activities. This has been a very big push of mine this year, is to create more opportunities and activities for students in our building. The main reason behind that is it's very simple. The data shows that the more students feel that they are connected to their school and that they have a connection there, they're going to be more successful. They're going to want to be there and they're going to want to be a part of that community that we're creating. So with that said, activities that, this is not all the activities that we are offering at the middle school, but ones that have come back after many, many years, I've been told by veteran staff and or are brand new. And so part of that is working with the OSU Extension. And so they have done a great job at working with them and offering robotics programming in our garden club. I'm personally partial to gardening. So, and I love to, love that. And so they've done a really good job giving it a chance back here. Not only did we kind of take that to bring it back, we're taking it to a larger level. We're expanded it massively. And then today the irrigation all just got, well, not today, but it's all dug up, all set, all automatic timers. So the gardens continue to do well over the summer. And so we're doing a lot of things with that. Kids are really, really involved. I'll be honest, I was a little bit surprised at how many students have come out to be a part of that, but absolutely love it. Working with their hands, getting in the dirt, actually seeing the results of what they're doing. They started seedlings months ago and now they're putting in the ground. So it's a pretty awesome opportunity for them. Other activities that we have brought this year, homework club, which runs multiple times a week for all students to access any time after school to get the help they need and support they need. Chess club, mural club, which is by our art teacher. And so down the hall on the second floor here, there are a lot of old paintings that I say old, but they've been here for about 12, 15 years is what I've been told. And so they're redoing all of that and bringing like a new fresh look to that. That is the theme has been to culturally reflect our student population. So that's what those murals are doing and kind of touching into those different aspects so students can see themselves in the work around the building. Along with that, continue to expand different groups for lunch groups so students have places to connect when we're doing that. And so an example of that, traditionally, it's been, students will go lunch, they go outside recess, they come back in. That doesn't work for everyone. So offering up different opportunities in the building for students to go to different areas, including increasing games and activities outside for students like that, having the library open. Our librarian, Miss Sam, does an amazing job at running that. And so kind of just like you would in the classroom, differentiating for our students when they're at recess and at their lunch. So they have something there for them, including it sits along here at lunch, we have like, it's just a friendship table. And some kids, that's just, they need that time to decompress, while others want to go out and play sports really hard, and others want to go up and they want to read in the library. So it's been really cool to see that thrive and students do well with that. Another thing, they talked a little bit about it tonight, Miss Riley Elliott did, so she stole some of my notes. I know she's listening right out there to me as I say that. We're expanding ASB. And so one of the things when I came in this year and I met with Ms. Staley, our ASB advisor, it was, we had this kind of a traditional ASB position, president, vice president, treasury, secretary, et cetera. I said, we need to expand this. We got to create a leadership pipeline for our students as well, so that they start learning how to lead and we can step into these roles. So like it was said earlier, they created another ASB position. It's a DJ position. There is actually, I'm not going to get into it right now, there's economic reasons behind that and the decision for that. And that's actually to not only give the experience to those students, but actually kind of make more of a profit for our students in ASB as they start to take those tasks on instead of us outsourcing and paying for those different things that come into the building. And so with the expansion also of our leadership, of our student leadership, one of the things we did this year is I asked for us to have also 4 class officers in each grade. So that was with the ASB position and the class officer position, that's 13 more positions, leadership positions for students to step into and to start getting that, the mentoring of that and learning how to lead and getting them ready for become future leaders. Our 2022-2023 initiatives, it was very simple. This is what I communicated with staff at the beginning of the year and what I communicated with our families coming off of COVID. This is our first normal year in 3 years. That's a long time for students this age. That's a huge percentage of their schooling and that they've been to. And so at the beginning of the year, there was 3 simple tasks: creating a fun learning environment for all students. We wanted students to be back in school, having fun, enjoying being there, enjoying working together. The second was developing strong relationships with all students, and by very simple measures. So example, myself and some other staff members, we stand at the front of the building every morning. We make sure every student is said hello to and greeted and welcomed when they come into this building. Staff, in addition, they greet every student at their doors when the students come into their classroom. And so those are just examples of many examples of very simplistic but consistent routines that kids can count. They know that, hey, I'm gonna get greeted at the door when I come in. I'm gonna get greeted when I come into the classroom. And it makes a significant difference. Whenever I have different obligations, I'm not at the front door in the morning, I hear about it from students. And they'll tell me, why weren't you there? Why weren't you there to say hi? What were you doing? You said you couldn't be there. And so it's those consistent practices that are making a big difference. And then the third goal coming in this year was to communicate effectively and consistently with all appropriate stakeholders. And an example of what that looks like is a staff. And this building, they're all in houses. And so each grade level has 2 houses that will consist of 4 main academic areas. So science, English language arts, math, and social studies. And then 1 or 2 elective teachers will always be part of those houses. So one of the things I asked each house to do and commit to is they are tasked on every Thursday. They send 1 message as an entire house that goes out to the parents that explains what the objectives were for the week, what the standards are that they're working on, what are the assessments, and what are the due dates. And there's been a tremendous amount of positive feedback about having that in 1 location. And one of the reasons why I wanted us to send that message just like in the house was for parents primarily. Being a parent that came out of COVID with 4 children, I remember at one point counting specifically that there was 27 different places I had to check for everything to make sure my kids were doing what they're supposed to and homework and being on task and moving forward. So we really wanted to simplify that and make that straightforward for our parents, where they know I can go here and I can look at this, and this is all the stuff that is being communicated directly from their teachers about what my student is doing this week, along with more of the traditional avenues, like where they can check their grades online, and the different things that we use. So those are the 3 big initiatives that we started at the beginning of the year of what I really wanted our group to be working on. 2 academic pieces that we started was writing goals. And you're going to notice a pattern here, and I'll explain it. But what I asked staff, and staff committed to it, I said, I want every student, every class period to write 3 to 5 sentences. It can be at the beginning of the class as a warm-up. It can be reflection at the end. I don't care how you want to use it. That is up to your professional discretion. But I want 3 to 5 sentences every class period. And everyone's like, okay, we'll do that. And I think a lot of that was because of explaining the power of that. And so if we're consistently doing that across the board, 3 to 5 sentences, that's 21 to 35 sentences per day. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it's better than 0. In a week, that equals 105 to 175 sentences per week. In a school year, that equals an extra 18,900 to almost 32,000 sentences written. And in a student's entire academic career at the Dallas Middle School, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, that simple little task will result in them writing anywhere between almost 60,000 to 95,000 extra sentences throughout their academic career. And what I think is very powerful about that, and what I talked to our staff about and they committed to, is education is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And you win by being consistent. You win the long game. And so having those consistent goals that students know, and they're going to win and they're going to get better, because that's what's expected of them as they build, and they're going to get those numbers in and the reps in, and that's how you get better at anything. And so as a staff, that's one task right out of the gate that we've committed to academically. The other one was vocabulary. I asked each teacher or discipline. So example, let's say like 6th grade science, 100 keywords, 100 keywords of language acquisition that you want your students to have mastered by the end of the year. It's 100 different for 7th grade science, 100 different for 8th grade science. That's not all taught at the same time, but it's the same principles as the writing, that increasing that much of our language acquisition, our vocabulary with our students and being consistent in how we're gonna deliver that is gonna win in the long run over multiple years of doing that and practicing that. And so the other two areas that I'm really proud of that we've created as a team this year, and systems we've put in place is the reset room, and that essentially it's a calm, supportive environment for students to access when overstimulated or experiencing anxiety, frustration, anger, sadness, or other emotions. And I know that sounds like, okay, so what does that mean? What it means is all that students come to school every day and they're facing different things, whether it's high anxiety, difficulties at home, and they need a safe place. And they need a safe place that's structured, and they need a safe place that we can also be there. And so we have staff that constantly rotates in there and work with students to try to give them the executive skills and functions that they need to do well in life. If you have anxiety and you're worked up, we have things in there that are data proven and backed by science, like breathing exercise and how to do other things. So the goal is to teach them actually life skills that will help them in the future as we move forward. And so that is one thing that we've created that's been a huge success in our building. The other one, which I've always wanted to do and just never got the opportunity, was creating a teacher observation schedule. The irony in education is a lot of times teachers work together all the time. So I'll go back, like, let's say social studies teachers in 6th grade work together, and in 7th grade, 8th grade, they'll all work together. They never see each other teach. They never get to see what their colleagues do and how they're delivering that content. So we created a system, and it's run through our Dean of Students, where people request to go and see others. Whoever they might want to be. They have developed schedules, forms. We fill their spots so that they can, in their own classroom, if they're requesting that time, most of the time they're requesting their prep. They go, they observe the other classrooms, they observe their fellow teachers. We have a sheet that we created, a form where they give feedback on that to their fellow colleagues, and then feedback for themselves. What did I learn? What did I get out of? So that we actually have data points we collect as we continue to build that. And that's been also a very huge success. And teachers have been very happy about that and having that opportunity. Quickly. Say quickly, but I'm talking longer than I should have. Our goals going into next year, so the 2023-2024 goals, our leadership team is working on this right now. Our leadership team consists of staff members from each house, union representatives from certified and classified, administration, counselors. So it's a pretty big group of about 15. What we've been working on, and they've taken it to staff and we brought it back, and we actually will be finalizing it next week, is coming up with non-negotiables for staff members and for students. And what I mean by that is, so 5 non-negotiables for staff members, it's stuff that we all adhere to, that we will not like bend at all. Like, we are all committed to be on the same page. And again, it's that consistency. And that might seem really straightforward, like, yeah, why wouldn't you be doing that? But the issue in public education is there's so much information, there's so many, I mean, if you just look at the student handbooks, there's so many things to follow. People do forget and they get lost. So we're working on that for staff. And these are the 5 things we as a staff, all of us, not just classroom teachers, all of us, we all commit to this, and we do this consistently so that our building runs better and our students benefit better. In addition, there's also working on the same thing of 5 non-negotiables for students. Like, in every classroom will have it. These are the 5 things that are expected of the Dallas Middle School students when you come here. In every class, you can expect this from your teacher, you know, you can count on for this. And so it's that same consistency piece, and that's what I was referring to earlier, that we're basing a lot of these systems on. They know they're going to get greeted. They know they're going to have these consistencies when they walk in the classroom. They know it doesn't matter if it's science in 6th grade or math in 8th grade, it's going to be the same with these structures that will create stability and a better learning environment for them. And so as we move forward, based on a lot of the macro data that was gathered this year doing brief 5-minute walkthroughs, the 2 areas as a staff that we are going to be working on next year are classroom management and increasing that, you know, bag of tricks for our teachers. A lot of our teachers are newer and only on their 1st or 2nd year. So just increasing that toolbox, and then also increasing how to promote and how to get more student-to-student interaction and communication on a simplistic level, instead of like, hey, I'm going to ask you this question. Okay, I want you to answer me, but like, okay, no, 30 seconds, turn to your partner, ask them this question, come up with 2 possibilities, and I'm going to call them 4 of you. So you start getting more of that interaction between students when, so that's a simple version versus moving more advanced, which we want to work on, where we're creating centers, or they're often called the different stations that you can build on based on data, grouping students together where they need to be. Teachers are part of those rotations, so they can give instant feedback to students. The data proves that that's, you know, the most effective. Not here, I'm gonna write feedback on this essay and give it to you 2 weeks later, because we know what every student does with that. They say, what's my grade? Cool, and they throw it right back in the garbage or in their notebook. So working on giving those instant feedbacks also and creating these different types of classroom environments so that students will also benefit greatly from that in the long run. What I'm happy about that is our partners and teaching coaches at the ESD and in district, our TOSA coaching instructors have met with all of them. We've talked about this vision. They're working on that. So it's a collaborative effort, a big group effort that we're working on to move in this direction based on the data that has been gathered this year. With that said, the end of the year remaining activities, if anyone is interested and wants to participate or help out, or just so you know what's going on. May 30th is 8th grade end of the year field trip to Camp Morrow. June 1st, like it was said earlier in the morning, the 5th grade step up day. So 5th graders are all going to be coming over here. Then that night, it will be their orientation night. So parents, families can come, students can come as well. And we're going to be doing that on June 1st. June 2nd, we're going to begin collecting all the students' Chromebooks. So if you really want to have a good time, come on out. You can come out and help us collect all these Chromebooks. And then June 7th, the band and the cheerleading group that I talked about that is brand new this year will be marching in the Junior Rose Festival Parade and going down to do that. And then June 8th will be the 7th grade field trip that will be in the community. They're going to go watch a movie, have a picnic. And so sounds like it'll be a fun day, but not too stressful as far as traveling a lot of a big agenda. And then June 9th will be our 8th grade promotion to Dallas Middle School. That event will begin at 6 p.m. And then we'll have an 8th grade dance that will follow at 8 p.m. after that. And that will be the last day of school. So that is the principal's report in the Dallas Middle School update. Any questions?
I just have a comment on the observation of the teachers. As a teacher, I learned my best tricks of the trade when our school did that. We always require a time of year where our two teachers get together and observe one another, 20 minutes per day. And another thing we try, which you might think about, is actually team teaching that period. So you plan for that session that two teachers teach together. Because then you involve planning and looking at each other to that plan. So I had a lot of fun. It's very positive.
Good, I appreciate you sharing that.
And also one other thing, I'm on the beautification committee at the Gardner. So if it isn't already online, it will be within the month. Applications for a free shade tree. We plan it and apply for one a year. So like if you want to create a grove over a period of time, you can do that. But it has to be seen from the street. So that's the one. And you can see all the details if you need any help on that.
All right, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
I love hearing about your goals, and you've got a lot of staff and a lot of students. How are you going to go about consolidating on 5 non-negotiables?
That is what the staff has been working on and voted on. So that's what, as a leadership team, that's what we discussed it. We brainstormed, came up with a list. They took it back to the houses and the staff to start to narrow that down, and so that they would have a say on that. The student one, it's going to be the same thing. Students are going to have a say on that as well. So it's not those are not dictated like from the top down whatsoever. I mean, it is 100% a democratic process, like try to do with everything this year, because everyone's going to be on board with it and be a team and want to commit to it. So that is how we're doing that.
All right, any other questions, Mr. Reducer? All right, thank you, Principal Reducer.
Yep, thanks, guys.
All right, our next report is the superintendent's report, so I'll turn it over to Dr. Burnham.
Thank you so much. I'm actually going to give the time over to our after-school programming director, Jamie Kerr. I'd like her to invite her up. She's prepared a presentation for you all about our after-school program currently at Chenoweth Elementary. And we are looking to expand on up to our other elementary schools and potentially our middle schools.
Thank you, Dr. Bernal. Hello, my name is Jamie Kerr. I'm the Director of After School Programming. So about us, the After School Academy is an after-school program to support all D21 students. We support the whole child and help them with recommendations from their teachers to reach their highest standards while motivating them to reach their fullest potential and graduating them to be college, career, and life ready. Each student in After School Academy is known by name, strength, and need. Student enrollment, our target child for enrollment is those who have been identified in need of additional academic enrichment, at-risk children who would benefit from being in an after-school program, home safety issues, and or social emotional support. We focus on grades 2nd through 5th grade and allow siblings of kinder and first to enroll if needed. Our program is led by consistent and supported staffing, is a mix of academic enrichment, physical movement, STEM activities, and life skill enrichment with our community partners. So these are our state level metrics to meet this year. And this is for Chenoweth and the Dallas High School. And we also, our grant is also shared with the first school district, which is not in here, but the first school has delivered 300 hours of service, and that is between Chenoweth and the high school, which we've met. And the second goal is to serve 200 total students. Chenoweth has 59, Dallas High School has 24. And although it looks not as awesome as maybe what it should, I'm very, very proud of these numbers and what we've stabilized and accomplished this year. Goal 3, 75% of students at 90% plus hours. And the Dallas High School robotics team has achieved that. And at Chenoweth, although that 14% does not look amazing, that we have 20 students who are just mere hours away from getting into that 90 hours. So again, very exciting and very proud of everything that we've built this year. The money. The after school programming for District 21 is funded through the ODE through the 21st Century Community Learning Centers grant. Columbia Gorge ESD is our fiscal agent and holds the grant. We are in the last couple of months of our 5-year grant, and in collaboration with North Wasco, today on this day, Jonathan Foss of the ESD submitted the grant, and we'll know in June if we got it for the next 5 years. So fingers crossed, all the prayers, good karma. We'll take it all. And just a couple of things at Chenoweth, what we do with our time is we've, in collaboration with OSU Extension Club, we've implemented a garden club. We've implemented a bike clinic with the Discovery Center and Geo. We've been part of the robotics club, the video club, and my staff and I do daily STEM activities. Again, we have robotic Legos and daily projects with community partners. We are an after school academy, so we have lots of homework help, and the kids do IXL curriculum, and we're able to keep metrics on them of their improvement in reading and math. So partnerships with OSU Extension Office, Youth Think, and Arts and Education, just to name a few. And high school robotics. I think we all know how the robotics team has been doing. So we've been super happy to help fund that team and are very proud of the work that they've been doing. And we just recently built a computer lab at the Dallas High School for esports. And I'm not sure if you guys saw the article in the newspaper front page. That's very, very exciting. And so Leah Ferguson has a lot of amazing plans for that program next year to get into competitions. And a couple of things that I didn't mention is that we have partnered with the Dallas Middle School for their garden club, like Ryan had mentioned, that it's expanding rapidly. So we're helping with staffing there and hoping to help grow their department. Next steps, secure the after-school program foundation that we built this year by finishing strong with students in Chenoweth After-School Academy until 6-8. Work with building leaders to design quality program for 23-24 school year and ensure a fast start when students return. Finish designing systems for strong communication, engagement, and relationships with parents for a plan of 23-24 rollout. Collaborate with ESD to secure the 21st Century Grant to fund the next 5 years of after-school programming. Continue to strengthen partnerships with school day teachers and community partners to create effective overlap between day and after school skills in academic, social, emotional, and physical learning. And then that's just my staff and I and how to contact us. We are, like everybody, in need of staffing. We have several open positions, excuse me, and we're looking to expand at Dry Hollow and eventually Colonel Wright. But we are asking for staffing in a very undesirable time frame, which is like 2 to 5:30 at night. So, but if you guys know anybody, we're a really great bunch to work with. Thank you.
All right, any questions or comments? Ms. Kerr?
If you don't get the grant, is there other grants you can apply for, or is it? Get something for 1 more year, as a 5, it's other avenues.
There are several other avenues that we're researching out. Yeah, of course. Any other questions?
Just thanks for all your work. I think it's exciting to be able to have these opportunities for all the kids after school. So
Yeah.
thank you for your team.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so our next report is our Chief Financial Officer report. So we're here from our CFO, Ms. Kara Plow.
Hello. Hopefully you've had some time to process the report and information I've sent out. Again, June will post a supplemental budget hearing to fix all of the budget overages and underage. I just have to put some on the paper, so I want to make sure we have ample time to do that. And last year, I brought a lot of resolutions forward, and at the end of the year, there was a change we had to make because there was a reimbursement that state wasn't going to approve. So I waited till later in the year to just do one, make it simpler. Yeah, hopefully it moves my mind. I'm just trying to keep it simple. And because the change is over 15%, it has to go through a supplemental hearing process. So may as well have it all go through that process for transparency. Let me skip to the financial write-up. There's a couple of factors here, and one of the challenges we have this year is trying to strategically set up next year so we don't have the I won't say instability, but there's a little volatility with the way the state school fund works. Kind of frustrating as a business person, but essentially this year it trues up revenue from last year, which ended up being $1 million gap. And usually there is a gap like that, but there's usually a gap across the whole state, and then it's kind of levelized through all the districts, and that didn't seem to happen last year. It was almost true to what it was, if that makes sense. And in addition to that, we had adjusted this year's revenue, so next year we didn't have the same shortfall. So those two combined together actually made the general fund $3 million less than what we anticipated, which is a lot. Yes, it's meant to set us up for a better financial picture next year when federal funds will really be depleted by the end of the year. So having said that, that means we also use more SR3 funds, which we have more than enough eligible places. One of the areas we are required to spend is 20% for unfinished learning. Innovations Academy is a new program for us this year. The entire program is intended to help with that, you know, different students needing different experiences, whether it's online, in person. So that program's been helpful with that, and online, as you see through our student population, and won't take any of the thunder of the lovely principal, but they're having good success with the new curriculum. So that's good news. It does leave what I put in here is the cash flow concern. So what it does require is the state to be very timely on their grant reimbursements as we go through this process. And I put in there one thing historically, and I can see why the previous CFO had done the TAN loans, so short-term loans that you pay back in the next year. He discontinued that the year I came because it wasn't a better financial picture. What I did look at, we could strategically do that, but we really do have, if you look at the financial summary in state special revenues, we have over $3 million that we should be reimbursed. So I've already reached out to OP and said, hey, here's a situation, we're gonna have a cash flow problem if this isn't reimbursed in a timely fashion, and they agreed to work with us. So we're going to forego the loan and take them at their word and make sure that we are reimbursed timely. Long story short, so lots of information. I added the athletics and facilities, just some pretty basic things we have going on. Yeah, I think that there's a lot of information in that, what I just said. Any questions? Okay. So I included, of course, all the IT stuff. If we move over to enrollment numbers, it'll be interesting, I guess, what the fall numbers are going to look at. What does concern me is from the start of the school year in September till May 1st, we did drop by 100 students. So I'd hoped we made up some of that difference by the end of the year, but it doesn't seem to have come back. So I know fall is always higher and it kind of dips down, but it's still, you know, pre-COVID, it was 2,900. So that'll be an interesting picture in the next year. So I hope it continues to increase. We aren't in the same situation where a lot of other districts are, where we're decreasing from even the year before. We're not doing that. That's good news, but I'd like to see it come up even higher. Yeah, it's starting to kind of level out, but it peaks up a little bit and then it goes down, and so it's like a waiting game. But yeah, any increase in the state school fund will be helpful in that. But kind of a really quick. Any other questions? Anything? Okay, thank you.
Ms. Flash, lunch report, board attorney report, anything, Mr. Corey?
Just to confirm that we did get the lease renewed for the property up in Columbia Heights, so that's in place with the changes that we made in anticipation of surplusing part of the Columbia Heights property. Okay, that's all I have for tonight.
All right, thank you, Mr. Corey. Concludes our reports tonight. We move on to our discussion and action items. First one we have is the approval and readoption of the 2023-2024 calendar and the 2024-2025 calendar, and the adoption of the 2025-2026 calendar. We'll turn it over to Dr. Bernal.
Thank you. We are bringing back our 23-24 and 24-25 calendar with a few changes. Of note, we have realigned spring break to align with the universities and colleges, and really the rest of the state, because apparently this year we were a week off. So we realigned our spring break to make sure we're aligned with everyone else. And then secondly, after a lot of survey work, we surveyed both our staff and then our parent community about the way we currently have some of our schools on early release, some on late start, some on neither of those. And if there was a preference for us to align all of our schools to one singular either early release or late start date. And overwhelmingly, well, the data came back in favor more heavily for early release for all of our schools, with the exception of Innovations Academy, who will continue on a 4-day school week next year with the Fridays. With no students still come to campus on Fridays at Innovations Academy for individual assistance and or support. But that's also the day that teachers do their professional development and professional learning. So these calendars reflect an early release for our 3 elementary schools, the middle school and the Dallas High School. They will all align now and have been on early release on Wednesdays. Wednesdays was still the #1 day that everyone picked. So that is reflected in all of the 3 calendars that we are bringing forward for approval tonight. Oh, and I guess I should say mostly the format. We've changed the format of the calendars. We feel like this is the more easy to read calendar format. Sorry, that was like the biggest change.
Right, any questions or comments for Dr. Monroe?
This calendar, it seems shorter than you look at it. Oh, there's no weekends.
Yes. Yep.
But
Took off yeah, it's just the school. It's actually the school weeks, the Monday through Friday. Yes, we eliminated the Saturdays and Sundays.
Would Mosier be following the same calendar?
Yeah, they use our template, but it might be just a little different. I haven't seen their calendar for next year. Yeah. Great question.
Swan, I just want to ask about, was there discussion, especially for high school students, but also high school and middle school, about the physiologic benefit of the late start versus early release? And it sounds like, the consensus was early release, but that's always something that comes to my mind.
Yeah, so we've had a lot of discussions about that, and I know there is a lot of great research out there about the benefits of late start. I do know with our middle school, some of the feedback in talking with some of the teachers and staff is that late start days were actually their most problematic day, because it's the day where they saw the most tardies and kids coming to school late, and also very tired because they had stayed up later because they didn't have to do this full time, which is interesting, right? Because I am aware of the research about on the brain and how it is better for our older students to not start school as early. But those were considerations, and we did ask. Yes.
Any other questions or comments? No, I will entertain a motion for approval.
I'd like to make a move to approve and readopt the 2023 to 24 calendar and the 2024 to 25 calendar, and adopt the 2025 to 26 calendar.
Right, do you have a second? All right, so we've got a motion by Director Nelson, seconded by Director Lopez, to approve and readopt the 2023-2024 calendar and 2024-2025 calendar, and adopt the 2025-2026 calendar as presented. Any further comment or question? And we'll move to a vote. Director Lopez.
Aye.
Director Jones.
Aye.
Director Nelson.
Aye.
Director Richardson.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. All right, that concludes our action items for tonight. So we'll move on to first reading on school board policies. First one we have tonight is policy IGBHD, program exemptions. And so districts are prohibited from discriminating against students, staff, community members on the basis of religion and other protected classes. OSB has updated its policy to more closely match legal requirements for requesting exemption from school activities. And so all the new language is blue font. Any questions or comments regarding these updates? See this for second adoption in June. If you do have anything between now and then, just make sure you email that and we can review and discuss at our next meeting. Next policy is policy BHD, cybersecurity. So this is a completely brand new one. And so this is a result of cybersecurity being an increasing issue in schools across the country. So this is to help districts to establish norms and procedures. So this is something that OSB has crafted and has released this policy to help us in this new internet age we live in. So any questions on the cybersecurity? Okay. I think just kind of given the age that we live in, I think it's more important as we get more apps and other technology into the classroom. It's important that we keep this at the forefront to protect student and staff information.
I'd also like to add that we are we'll be required to have actually a cybersecurity plan in place for our district. And so our technology team and the ESD have actually drafted a plan that we are reviewing right now, but their plan will encompass both the ESD and then the districts that they serve, and will all be under one plan. And that plan is due June 30th, I believe. So we're reviewing the plan that they've drafted now to make sure that it aligns both with our policies that we're bringing forward and also the work that we're doing around technology and cybersecurity in our district.
Thank you, Dr. Bernal. So that concludes our first readings for tonight. Moving on to our second readings and adoption, we have policy JGE on expulsion. So ORS 339.2502 and OER 581-021-0070 requires school districts to have a policy on expulsion. So we didn't have any changes from our first review last month. But any final comments on this update to the expulsion policy? I'll entertain a motion for its adoption.
Where I move to approve policy JGE on expulsion as presented.
All right, second. All right, so we got a motion by Director Richardson, seconded by Director Jones to approve policy JGE on expulsion as presented. Any further comment or discussion? All right. Seeing any, so we'll move to a vote. Director Lopez.
Aye.
Director Jones.
Aye.
Director Nelson.
Aye.
Director Richardson.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Our last second reading we have tonight is policy JHCD/JHCDA. This is on medication. So this is a lot of internal updating and revisions that we collaborated with our school nurses. So we've got those updates went through a couple iterations. So we have both the blue and the red font on that policy. Any comments or discussion on this policy? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve policy JHCD/JHCDA medication.
All right, so I've got a motion by Director Richardson, seconded by Director Jones to approve policy JHCD/JHCDA medication as presented. Any further discussion on it?
I'll just comment, I appreciate the school nurses' due diligence and working with them to make sure this was the most updated and current policy.
Great comment. Any other comments? No, all right, then we'll move to a vote. Director Lopez.
Aye.
Director Jones.
Aye.
Director Nelson.
Aye.
Director Richardson.
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. That concludes our second readings for tonight. We have a couple of ARs that we have been working in the background to update. One of those is policy KL-AR. This is a public complaint procedure. So the revisions to this complaint procedure are to clarify the timelines and more closely align with the legal requirements. And then policy EHB-AR, this is on cybersecurity. So this is, again, a brand new one, similar to first reading that we had on cybersecurity. And that's just that we can establish kind of the norms and procedures and fulfill the requirements that Dr. Bernal had mentioned. Any comments on those AR updates? Seeing none, brings us to our final item for tonight. That's comments from the audience. Do you have any?
Yeah, just no, on policy KL-AR on page 3. There's just the highlighted in the last paragraph, we highlighted OSBA recommends you have district council and or board vice chair. And so the question is, do you want to go with that recommended highlighted language?
So prior to the bracketed language, we would have and or. So district council and or vice chair.
Yeah, so we would be adding, yes, board vice chair. Right, currently it's just district council. OSBA's recommendation, you can add board vice chair in addition to district council.
I think that makes sense. I mean, I think from a community standpoint, community members are more likely to know a board member than legal counsel. Probably go to them as opposed to just the legal. So I would be of the opinion that it should be either or. Any other thoughts on that? Okay. Yeah, I need to.
So go ahead and
keep the bracketed language.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, that does then bring us to our final item, the comments from public.
Jose, what's the solution there? I didn't hear it. The way
Keep the bracketed language.
Wait, I like it. Okay.
Yeah. All right, do we have anyone signed up for tonight? All right, we've got no one tonight. We did get one written comment submitted to us, so board member that was emailed to you. That came from community member Don Rasmussen. So that'll be in the meeting minutes when they're approved next month. All right, if nothing else. Most of you, I think, at graduation, and let's do our best to attend as many of these kind of end of the year celebrations for our students.
Just a reminder, I'm trying to put as many events that are going on in the next couple of weeks in the weekend updates that I'm sending you. So if you need information, look there because that's where most of the information will be.
A lot going on, but all good stuff. With that, thanks everyone for this evening, and I'll officially adjourn the meeting.